ladies and gentlemen, here, hopefully you recognize this beautiful face, not mine, but this guy right here, Josh. If you made it to our fall party, Josh was our photographer for this. And I have known Josh, oh, good God, 20 something years. It's been a long time.
More than that, probably.
It's been a long time. I know a lot of Josh's dirty secrets from back in the high school days. Some things he probably should have a criminal record for and different things of that nature. But always a good guy. He actually married a good friend of mine as well that I went to high school with. So he's from Seguin, one of those great people. And he's been, I actually got him to shoot our wedding when we got married back in, it'll be 10 years in a couple of weeks. And it's kind of weird. So we shot our wedding, and ever since then, he's just been a kind of our photographer. And I love catching up and talking to him. He does all of our family photos, and he actually runs a very successful photography business. And I wanted to kind of talk about what him and I were shooting the shit about the other day when we were just hanging out at the party, kind of getting some stuff going. He brought up some amazing things, amazing information that I just thought, I was like, oh my God, everybody's got to hear this. So what's interesting about Josh is yes, in a completely different field. He does photography, everything from, we were talking a minute ago, from senior portraits up to commercial. And I know that the vast majority of your business nowadays is commercial. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting to me about it is he did the same thing that all of us in real estate are trying to do, is basically start a business from zero. You know, if you're a real estate agent, if you're an investor, whatever avenue that you're doing in this thing, you start from zero, and you've got to be able to work your network and your clients and get this whole thing built up to something that becomes sustaining and sustainable, and where you can live the life that you want to live. Now, me personally, honestly, guys, White Line Realty has been around for a little over 2 years. I've been investing for about 3 years. And we were talking about this with Josh, is that we're starting to see that hockey stick curve where things really start working out for you. But that beginning part of it, Josh said 3 years, he feels like is kind of the magic number. So Josh, talk to me about it. So just a little bit, how did you get started? Why did you choose to go out on your own? Let's start there.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. You know, I've always been visual. I started doing visual work in high school. Even had some corporate clients back then. And then I worked for the American Statesman for 2.5 years covering high school sports. My original goal was to be like an ESPN broadcaster or like camera crew, like that was kind of the original, compass. And then I took a detour into restaurants, and I helped start up kind of a successful restaurant business for a couple of years, learned a ton. Some of y'all may know it, Plucker's Wing Bar. So I was there when they had one location, and then I helped open the next 5 locations of them. So it was amazing learning from them. I stole a lot of their ideas to use for myself. And then from there, I went and worked at a very corporate job, and I hated it. I'd never been so unhappy in my life. Every day was torture. I've also never been paid better than I've been paid at that point. But
ain't that the truth?
But the equation was not worth it. It was absolutely not worth it. I was miserable, not happy, just wasn't fulfilled, didn't feel like I was helping anybody. It was not my place to be. And they had to pay me that to get me to show up every day, but I thought that was still a losing argument. And so I'd already started kind of picking back up photography on the side. And then it's one of those bad days, great days. I got let go. And it was a bad day, but it was a great moment. The company I worked for, the guy that let me go about 6 months later got let go. And then the whole company went under about 6 months after that. And so I was one of the first to flee the ship, and it gave me a year head start to do what I really wanted to do, which was to serve people by creating imagery that would help them either with their life, with their business, or just make them smile. And I really take a servant approach to it. I'm the lowest on the totem pole, right? If there's a crew working with me, I'm the lowest, right? I'm there to help. I'm there to support. I'm there to cheer on. I'm there to help my team. And, for my clients, I just want to meet their needs, right? I want to make them excited. I want to get texts back from them. Literally, I got one last night from a senior client, and the mom was like, I've been crying for 3 hours looking at these pictures. And so, I didn't set up for that session to say, hey, you're going to cry. That's not what we did. I said, oh, I lowered the expectations at the beginning because I knew I was going to jump those expectations at the end. Um, so, I love doing that where, I try to downplay what we're going to do, and then just knock it out and people are wowed every time. So, um,
So
I guess that's,
when you got started, Josh, okay, so you get fired. Now we got to go do this thing. And you're like, hey, because I can't tell you how many people are probably in the same shoes. That's kind of what happened to me. I actually kind of quit my job too, but I was doing real estate on the side. I finally had enough. I was getting paid well. I was in the country club at work, as we always called it, where if I picked up the phone and called the CEO, he'd answer my call. And everybody could not believe that I just turned it in. I was like, I'm out. And there's a lot of reasons, and I'll share that story at another time. But so you get the axe. I'm pretty sure you're crapping your pants. You got a wife, you got kids.
mm-hmm.
I mean, what did you do to get started? You're like, all right, I'm taking my passion. I'm doing this. Like, I mean, what's ground one? Like, date. Okay, so you get fired, you go home, you cry, probably have a couple beers, and you wake up the next morning going, all right, where do we start?
Yeah. So let's temper expectations again. So I'm very honest about my finances. I have a whole podcast where I talk about this, make podcast.com. And I'll tell the story again. First year I started was 2009. I don't know if anybody else remembers 2009. It was not a great year for starting a business, but
anything.
Yeah, exactly. There was no capital, right? And first year, all I did was photography, laid the groundwork, learned a whole bunch. We generated 6,000 in revenue for the company. That's it. That's all I did. Just with full-time photography. That was my only job. Generated $6,000. Second year, tripled. It's pretty good. That's a good growth curve. 18,000. That's not what I made. That's what the company generated. Third year, we talked about it. 3 to 5 years for any business to get going. Third year, okay, now it's a real business. We did 54,000. And then fourth year, we doubled. We did like 90,000 in revenue. So really, it took till year 4 to where I could at least make like teacher money. Like that was it. And then since year 5, we've been 6 figures revenue as a photography business. And next month starts year 14. So I'm not necessarily optimized for income generation. That's not what matters the most to me. I certainly do fine. I make what I want to make. I know that if I press harder on the gas, I could, but I also know that I'm doing what I want to do. I have the schedule that I want to have. I have 2 small kids. They're 7 and 10. And so being able to be a dad, being able to take them to school every morning, pick them up from school every day, pack their lunches, make their breakfast, that's very important to me. Personal story, my dad worked really hard. He made a lot of money. I didn't see him for 2 years, literally didn't see him for 2 years. And so it just depends on what you want to optimize for. Could I make more money? Sure. Would I have to travel more and travel further and be away from my family more to do it? Yes. And so it's all about what's right, that equation for you. Now let's talk about the actual tools it took to get started. I knew from my days at Pluckers that the only people that can order your service are the people that know about you. And that sounds stupid to say, but I think the biggest mistake that businesses make when they're starting out is they wait for the phone to ring. They wait for somebody to call them. They wait for that email to come in. And my question to people would be, who are you chasing? Who are you going after? Who are you picking up the phone and calling? The best thing that I ever did right when I started, I don't know why more people don't do it. It's crazy to me. I joined my local chamber of commerce. It cost, Pflugerville's a town. I live in Pflugerville, Texas. It's a town of like 50, 60,000 people. I think it costs like $225 a year to join the local chamber. And if somebody calls the Chamber of Commerce, the only people they can refer are chamber members.
Our members, yeah.
Well, who did I want to do business with?
Why have I not done that?
I wanted to do business with small business owners and executives. Well, guess who is in the Chamber of Commerce? Small business owner and business executives.
Yeah.
And now it took a while and it took time right? I went to meetings, I showed up, I told people my name, I told people what I did. And over time, I bet each year I get a 10x return on my time and money from just that, from just joining the chamber, going to Chamber of Commerce meetings at 10x time. Now, does that mean if I pay my dues and show up to one meeting that I'm going to make money? No. And there's a lot of people I see that do that, and then you never see them again because they didn't get that immediate return.
Exactly.
My least favorite phrase is, oh, it wasn't personal, it was just business. And I think that phrase couldn't be more wrong than if you wrote it in red ink upside down and left-handed. Business is nothing but a series of personal relationships. Why do you get picked as a real estate agent? Because people like and trust you.
Yep.
How do you develop that? You get to know them. So the only reason you do any transactions is because people feel like they have a personal connection with you.
Right.
If it was just business, you would have to compete on cost, right? If you sold the same thing as somebody else, it comes down to exactly, well, they said they could do it for 3%, and this person says they're going to do it for 2%. Y'all deliver the same thing. I'm going to go with the 2%. So if you're competing on price, you've already lost.
Amen. That's sales 101 right there.
You've already lost. The last agents I've hired, I never even asked them their fees. I had no idea, but I knew them and I trusted them. I knew whatever it costs to do business, that's fine. I don't care. I just wanted them to do it for me.
Right.
And so to me, and with our photography, we've never set out to do what everybody else has done, because then we just compete on price, and I've already lost. And so for me, it's always been about what can I deliver that's really good and hopefully a little different. Because when people see my photos, I hope they say, I think Josh took that. And even if it wasn't one that I took, they associate my work with something
with that level of quality.
Different. Yeah, exactly. And so, if you can look like a luxury brand and act like a luxury brand and charge like a luxury brand, even though you don't feel it personally, guess what? You're a luxury brand, right? And all that means is answer the phone when it rings, respond to emails when they come in, so that people can like and trust you.
Yep.
Do it with a smile. Even if you want to stab them in the throat, do it with a smile. Never burn bridges. You never know when it's going to come back.
Yep. Exactly. And I can't tell you how many people pain in the ass customers that I, kind of swallow it and just smile and okay. And then, sooner or later I get a referral or I get something, good out of that pride moment right there, that I had to swallow.
Let's talk referrals, because I think literally at this point in my business, I'm like 99% referral based. I've cut most of my marketing. I had all the work I needed, so I didn't need to push that lever anymore. So let's say 25 people. Okay.
Yeah.
If you never ask for a referral after the 25th person you've done work for, that's all the work you're ever going to get.
Yep. Now, and I just want to point out the one word you said in there was the word ask. Yeah. Nobody going to happen. And it's like, no, it's not.
You have to tell people in their head, they have to hear you say what you want them to repeat to others. And I'll tell you how I introduce people, and it sounds stupid. I know it does. And you've probably heard me say it, but I go up to people and I'm saying, hey, I'm Josh. I take pictures. Good to meet you. That's it. Because what I want them to repeat to other people is, hey, that's Josh. He takes pictures. Right? So if you're a real estate investor, hey, I'm Colin. I invest in real estate. Good to meet you. What can I do for you today? And get it off you and onto them. Because people are going to rate you higher if they get to talk about themselves. Yep. What did we just say? People like to do business with people they like and trust. So if they trust you to listen to what they have to say and they like you because you listen to what they say, they're going to do business with you.
Dude, that's right out of How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? The most interesting, like that's how you come off as interesting is when the other person's talking more and telling you their story and their needs and their wants and, you know, all of that good stuff. And the better you are at listening, the more interesting you are for some odd reason.
Yeah. So let's get back to the example here. Let's say you know 25 people and you never ask for a referral again. Once you get to the 25th person, you're done. Now, if you ask for a referral, let's say each of those 25 people knows 25. Okay, simple, right? See, simple geometric math. If you can do business with those 25 of 25, do you know how many people that is?
Yeah, a lot.
625.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to have geometric growth in your business? It happens when your first 25 starts referring you to their 25. Let me say that again. Growth in your business happens when you get to do business with your 25's 25.
Yep.
The trick of business is sticking around and doing it for long enough to get out of your own network, right? Your mom's going to do business with you. Your sisters are going to do business with you. Your best friend from college is. Those are your first 25. The key is stick around long enough so when it comes time for their friends to need you, you're still in business.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many photographers just this month. I've gotten four-figure deals done because the person they used to use is no longer in business. And they called me and say, hey, we're not in business anymore. Call Josh. He's a good guy.
Yep.
How easy was that? But I had to stick around for it to happen. I had to stick around for word of mouth to happen. Because if I had left when things got tough, I'd be working for Dell again or somebody, right? I wouldn't be getting to do what I do. I wouldn't get to eat Vietnamese food at 11:30 on a Wednesday and talk to friends. I'd be generating my time for somebody else. And I wouldn't be generating wealth for myself. Did that hit too hard too quick?
No, I love it. I love every bit of it. And I agree with you. I mean, I taught, I think I told you with my last job, I ended up becoming an international sales trainer. They had me all over the country, Canada, Puerto Rico, all that stuff. And that was one of the big things that I'd always hit home on is you just ask for the referral. You never know what they're going to say. Just allowing somebody to know what it is that you do just goes such a long way. And then I think on top of that is like you said, making sure that you're interesting and people like you. And then beyond that is producing a superior product, making sure that they felt like you really took care of them. I know, I mean, when you do a superior product, that's what happens. So I took care of this one lady and they had it was a convoluted deal. And, you know, I sat there and walked them through the entire thing. And by the end of the day, I mean, I think it was a month later, her daughter called me, her brother called me. I mean, it's just boom, 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 boom. And I got all these referrals from just doing a superior product. And I think it's also true with you. You know, we did our family photos, right? You've always done a great job. I mean, I bug you about every 1 or 2 years to come down here and do it again. But I posted one the other day. My sister's, 6 foot up my rear end. Who took them? And I said, all right, let me hook you up.
You know, what's funny about that, and I think this goes to show you want to do referral business. When I post photos on my own channels, I'll get likes, I get comments, but I don't get necessarily new work. But where I get work is when my clients post my photos.
Yep.
When my clients post my work and they blow up about it, I get new followers, I get new inquiries, I get new business.
And the best part is you can almost dictate the way that works too, right? So when somebody calls me asking for me as a realtor, I'm like, hey, look, this is how I do business. You ready? You know what I mean? I don't have to bend over backwards and, with just some stranger off some marketing campaign that I've sent out or whatever it might be. The rules kind of change a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They already know what they're getting, right? I just did your family photos. What did I send you the next day?
Yep.
I sent you 2 social media ready files. Did I have any doubts what you were going to do with those? No. Did I have to tell you to go post those and tag me? No, I knew you were going to do it because guess what? Everybody does it. Everybody
Yeah.
does it. And so it came across as a, hey, these are some highlights. I thought you'd love them. It
Yep.
didn't come across as me selling myself, but it sold myself.
Yep.
And so, I think so often we get caught up in like that sales mindset. And what ends up happening is we come off as really irritating. I've been to some real estate conferences and I'm clearly there working. Clearly they're working. I have camera backpacks. I'm working. And I've had people stop me and be like, hey, who do you know interested in buying and selling real estate? I'm like, I don't live here. I don't know you. Like, buy me dinner first. Like, I will never do business with you now. If you want to assure that I will never do business with you, come off that way. Introduce yourself first. Tell me what you're about. Make a funny comment. Do something, but don't just lead with, hey, who do you know looking to buy or sell real estate? I'm like, I'm out. Like,
Yep.
you've turned me off so quick. I would never do business with you.
Well, and I a good example of that is actually, I think when one of the first times I would say that you and I got kind of close is when I was working in Green.
Mhm.
And I was like, hey, man, I'm trying to do that. Can you come? I need you. Can you help me? You know what I mean? And asking for help or talking. And you know what I mean? And then we just sat there, drank a couple beers, bullshit. And next thing you know, I'd learned a ton. And I'm pretty sure you felt good about the relationship too, right? So
Yeah. I got to shoot Ray Wiley Hubbard that night and Warren Hood. I don't know if you remember that. That's who was playing that night. Warren Hood and Ray Wiley Hubbard, two of my like songwriting heroes. So yeah, and I do. So one of the ways that people will do business with you as well is if you know what you're doing, which sounds stupid, but if you can demonstrate that you have mastery on a topic, it's called the call to authority, right? But if you can demonstrate mastery, they're going to do business with you. But again,
Yep.
Don't be an asshole about it. When people call me for help, I say yes. Like 99, unless I just physically can't be there. I want to help people. I didn't learn everything I know from within. I got it from other people. I called other people when I was starting out. Why wouldn't I want to spread that out? I think there's this idea that we have some like alchemy of like hidden knowledge that nobody else can know, and that's our business plan. Our business plan is we know some hidden secret. There's no secret.
That is the hardest thing personally for me, is to let all that information go. So that referral that her brother called me, he called me to help him walk through a transaction with another agent. That's like, I didn't even get the business. Like, he had already had another agent, had all this stuff, and I just helped him. I was like, he didn't know what was going on. He couldn't get a hold of it. And I just helped him. And you know what? I didn't make a nickel off of it, but I guarantee you, guess who's getting his next house sale? Guess who he's referring the next time somebody asks him about it?
Right. You know what's interesting? We've had people that this is weird. We were in the running to be their photographer. And they went with somebody else, usually because they were cheaper. And then about 6 months after the wedding, we'll get a call from them and say, hey, we don't like the way these photos look. Can you re-edit them for us? Sure. And so it's happened more than 5 times where I knew we were in the running for the top 3. We came in second, and 6 months later, we ended up doing work for them. Now, who do you think they referred for the next 10 years?
Yep.
So don't be a dick. Help people out. Know what you know, and you'll
don't be afraid to share it.
Absolutely. The other thing about sharing and teaching, you also learn. It crystallizes those things. We have notions in our head, but until we say them or write them down, they're kind of wishy-washy. And when we start teaching, it pushes us to learn more so that we can teach better, so that we can grow more. And I think if you get into that learning mindset of, I always want to be growing, I always want to be teaching, I always want to be helping, you're In year one, it might not make a difference. By year two, you're going to be 5% ahead of your competitors. By year three, you're going to be 25% ahead of your competitors. By year four, you're going to be 600% ahead of your competitors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's hard, human nature, right? We want to hold on. Let go. You can either have growth or control. You can't have both. Let me say that again. You can either have growth or control, but not both.
Yep. I'm writing that down. I'm sorry. I like that.
The sooner you can internalize that, the better your life's going to be.
Yeah. And I can't agree with you more. Like, and I know a lot of the people watching this will know that I started off life as a music teacher. Like I was a band director. I was a middle school band director. And not to toot my own horn, pun intended, I was the principal trombone player at TLU. I was the principal in the jazz. First chair, I was the best one that they had, when I graduated. And then I go off and I start teaching middle school, and I'm teaching them how to put a trombone together. And I'm teaching them how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I'm teaching them all this stuff. And it just, my mom made a hilarious comment. She's like, yeah, going to your senior stuff, we're listening to you play Star Wars and all these great concerts. Now I come see your concerts. Now we're back to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And she's like, this is horrible. But I'll never forget, that's when I actually took off as a musician. For some odd reason, getting back to those fundamentals and helping and just learning and teaching it all over again, it just made me that much better. And the same I'm seeing is happening here at White Line. As I started teaching, my fundamental concept, my ability to move quicker is just tremendous because I truly understand everything. It becomes second nature. It just becomes a really clean habit. That's for the positive, because I've just got that foundation in teaching and helping others.
Yeah, I would say, let's say for those of you who are 6 months in the business, go find somebody 3 months into the business and go offer to help them.
Yep.
One
or
more
if you're
thing
in the first 3 months, if you're in the first 3 months, ask all. Yep.
We do a lot of education. A lot of my side hustle is I'm also a photography instructor. And what's funny about it, it actually becomes paid lead generation. Who would like to get paid for lead genning? Right? Because usually it's the other way around. You usually pay somebody to lead gen for you, right?
Yeah.
You're paying somebody, you're paying Zillow, you're paying Trulia to get the data. Wouldn't it be amazing if they paid you and gave you leads? Do you know how to do that? Teach, educate, help out. And it's literally what I do. So one of the classes I'm teaching Sunday is product photography. I will be paid to go teach people to sign up for a class on how to shoot products. Let's say there's going to be 6 people there. 2 of them are going to realize it's not for them. They thought they could learn everything I know about product in 3 hours. And they're not photographers. They probably make products. And instead of them, they didn't realize what they were getting into. And so instead of them learning how to do the skill themselves, they're going to be like, hey, Josh, you seem to know what you're doing. Can I just hire you to shoot our products?
Yep.
I have never taught this class and not got leads from it. Guess what? The turnover rate in real estate is 80%. There's going to be some people that join, realize it's not for them, and they're going to want to give you their business.
Yep.
So by teaching and by helping, you're getting paid to lead gen for the next 3 years.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And yeah, totally. And then and speaking of that, what was that? Oh, Chris, you're off mute. All right. So the other thing that you said to me that I really wanted to touch on when we were talking at Eric's party was you had a t-shirt made, I think you said, that says your network is your net worth.
Your network is your net worth. We're gonna have a dance party with that.
Yeah. So talk to me.
Yeah. So if you listen to nothing else I've said, and I've said a lot, I understand. I get kind of loquacious. your network is your net worth. The people who know you as a real estate agent is the amount of people that you can do business with. If you know 10 people and together they have $1 million, guess how much they could spend on you? They have $1 million. If you know 100 people and between them they have $10 million, guess how big your business can be? $10 million business. If you know 1,000 people and they have $1 billion, guess how big your business can be? Okay. Your network is your net worth. What that frees you up to do is, I think we always ask ourselves, man, what should I be doing? Should I be sending out more mailers? Should I be sending out t-shirts? What should I do? Here's the easy answer. And it's one question. And if it's a yes or no. Does this build my network? If the answer is yes, do it. If the answer is no, don't. People don't need more pins. I guarantee you, they don't need more pins. Okay? What they need is somebody they like and trust to do business with. You don't even have to be the best real estate agent. Let's say the best real estate agent lives in Portland, Oregon. Are you competing with him? Nope. The only people you're competing with are people in your network. If you have a circle of friends and you're the best real estate agent, you're getting all their work.
Yep. So yeah, go ahead.
So it's up to you to go and meet new friends. That's it, right? Go meet new people.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really hit me, I just went to, I was telling you, I just went to my first ever real estate investment conference. Like, it was nothing but investors. There's 1,500 of them. This is the first time I've ever been to a conference that I was not required to go to from a job, or I wasn't speaking at, or something along those lines. Like, I had to pay. It was $750. It was in New Orleans. Had to fly there. It was plus a room, you know what I mean, which was another $700 because it was during something or other, some fest or something. So the rooms are ungodly expensive. You know, so I mean, all in all, I'm probably $2,000 into this thing to go to this conference to learn something, and I was really back and forth over, you know, is this smart? Am I making a good decision here, right? And I got there and I didn't know a soul, not one person. I mean, there are 1,500 people, not to mention the speakers and all this stuff, no clue what I'm doing. And I'm walking around, and I'll never forget. So we go to the first half of the classes, you know, and it's just this bustle of people, and it's really hard. And I went to lunch, and I came back, and I saw this dude sitting by himself, drinking a beer at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he had the name tag on. So I just was like, hell, I'm gonna go talk to this guy. And so I sit down and talk to this guy, and it was just so serendipitous. I mean, I have all these projects, not enough money. He has all this money and not enough projects, and he lives out in Tucson, Arizona. Next thing you know, I said, hey, we're going to do, and you know, fast forward a week, I find a sixplex. I'm like, hey, I got the sixplex. He's like, let's do it together. And, you know, he's got millions of dollars of cash sitting on the sideline, which is something I don't have. And I'm like, let's go. And it was literally just the decision to walk over and talk to somebody I hadn't talked to before.
Let me ask you a question. Knowing what you know now, how much more would you have paid to go to that conference?
Yeah, no kidding. I couldn't even tell you the number.
10x?
Yeah, at least.
Right.
Because because he's already told me, and this is more real estate stuff. He's like, because it's not a real big price tag on it. It's $255,000. You know, it's not a huge price tag, but which I could probably pull off on my own. But he's got all of these other, because he's a doctor, he's a heart surgeon. He's got all these other heart surgeons and doctor friends and all this kind of stuff that they want to put their money into it, and they've been bugging him. And then, like, so he's like, why don't we just try to syndicate this? So if I can get this entire thing with private money, it's genius, right? I mean, if I get the entire thing with private money, it's genius, because now I'm paying 6, 7, 8% versus the 10, 11, 12. You know, the deal just works out so much better, all because of that one. And when I'm really pissed off is he's really the only person I ever talked to at that convention. Worked out well. I should have talked to 10 more, you know?
But what you just told me is what I just said. I met one new person, and it's not that I'm doing business with him. It's that I'm doing business now with all of his friends.
Yep.
And they also happen to be high net worth individuals. So now I met a friend plus 10, and they probably have 100 million in business that they want to give you over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Who wants to have $100 million business? Raise your hand.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
and then the next thing is then I got to go through and I got to put this together the right way, produce a good product, and the rest of it's history.
yeah, yeah. Why do people, to prove my point even further, why do people go to Harvard?
Just the
Why do
name.
people go to Harvard?
Yeah.
Because University of Texas, great school. Texas A&M, great school. Does UT have books that you can only get at Harvard? No, they have the same books. Are they teaching basically the same thing? Yeah. So what's the difference? The difference is the people that go to Harvard want to go to school with other people that want to go to Harvard. Why do rich people stay rich? Because all they know is other rich people. You talked about having the idea, but not the capital. Let's say you grew up in a poor area and all you knew was other poor people. You could have all the business ideas in the world, but if you never get access to that capital, you can't execute them.
Yep.
Talent is evenly distributed. I've met smart people that didn't make nothing. I've met dumb people that made a lot. I've met people all the way in between. Talents get randomly distributed. Opportunity does not. Getting into the right network of people is going to increase your odds of opportunity happening.
I love that. I'm writing that down too. Talent is randomly distributed.
Opportunity is not.
Yep. So for you, because I have some ideas and I don't want to be the one talking about this, but for you,
Sure.
What do you do to network? Like, what is your networking MO? Because, like, it's kind of like buying a house. Like yes, you could go to a place like a bridal show and just try and talk to all the brides and all this. And I thought I want you to tell that story too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To get the
Yeah.
bride, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the same thing as buying a house. Like, yes, everybody.
So you're kind of getting all jittery here, but here's
Yeah, can you still hear me, Josh? Yeah, I keep freezing.
yeah, I can.
Yeah,
Here's the
sorry.
difference. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. So I think the difference in mentality is: am I hunting for my next meal, or am I planting seeds and farming for my next 100 meals? And so, right, bridal shows, right? Wedding photographer, they're awful. I hate them. I don't like going to them. But I don't go for the brides because that's hunting. Okay. I don't want to be a hunter. I might miss my shot.
Come on, internet.
Yeah. Right. I might miss my shot. The deer might not show up, whatever. But who always shows up to a wedding show is other vendors. And what gets me out of the door to go to wedding and bridal shows is the other vendors, because those are the people I'm going to farm with. And I know that by doing work for them, by offering my services to free for them, I'm going to be the referral. And so I would much rather go and put in a lot of effort before the show even starts and network with every vendor there and introduce myself and tell them, hey, I'm Josh, I take pictures. What can I help you with? And then when the bridal show starts, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go to my booth. There may be a bride here. I don't care about the bride showing up. I care about the other vendors because I need referral sources that are going to last. Okay. That's it. The other things I do, I go to Chamber of Commerce meetings. I talk to people. Crazy. I know this is groundbreaking stuff, but I show up and I invest my time so that I can make some money. Okay.
Yep.
Yelp ain't going to make you money. Google ain't going to make you money. What's going to make you money is the people you meet in your community, in your network, that you can demonstrate that you can do business with, that you can handle their business and do it well. And that's the same for if you're Torchy's Tacos. It's the same if you're for Azulux Visuals. It's the same if you're Whiteland Realty. Go make friends, do a good job, ask them if you can do work for their friends. That's your network. Your network is your net worth. Your database is your data mine. What do you find in mine? You find gold. Okay, your database, that's your gold mine. Can you reach out?
Yeah, and I think yeah, and reaching out and talking to them and like I've got a couple different. I mean, just as kind of an example, I'm sure Josh would appreciate this. I've got this little thing right here in my desk, and it's full of all the vendors that I have met for one thing or the other, right?
Yep.
And I keep these in my vendors, but I touch base with them. These guys are on my Christmas card list. Okay. And I'm going to have some fantastic Christmas cards. Thanks, Josh. But whenever I meet somebody, I always take the time, if at all possible, I want their name, their phone number, their email, their address, like whatever I could get. I don't just get a card, put it on my desk and throw it away in a week when it starts to piss me off. I hang on to it and I do something with it. Even if it's like, I can't tell you how many other realtors are in this thing. You know what I mean? Like I've got whole sections full of realtors with Keller Williams, Century 21 and all this stuff. And I just want them to know, because like you said, if they ever do drop out, guess who they've got 15 Christmas cards from, right? Number one. Number two, like the sales professional guys here. This one's a funny one. This is Bella Vista Homes. I've told those stories before. Like, I'm friends with the home builders, and guess what? Whenever they're sick and they need somebody to go sit in there, I went and sat in there for a weekend one time and made 2 house bills just sitting in the office because they're coming in doing it. Got paid 3%. Didn't have to do a damn thing other than that, And I sat there and just did emails and caught up on work because it is kind of slow. But it's because they know, they trust, they like me, and I've incorporated them into my network. I've gotten them to where they know who I am, and I call them, text them, whatever it is, and they'll take my calls every time, which is also a nice thing about it. If you're not a dick about it, and they want to talk to you, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's Colin. It's not, oh, it's the solicitation thing coming again.
Yeah. I think the big idea too is that what can you do to create win-win situations? Right. For me, I know I'm going to put in some work for other vendors. Maybe it costs me a little bit of either time or money or both. Okay. What does it help them out? Have I demonstrated that I'm willing to help out the other members in my industry? Well, when I want to pick up the phone and ask them for a favor, I've already demonstrated that I'll do a favor for them. I've never been told no.
Yeah.
If you want 2 good book recommendations, I hope your readers out there, I hope you.
Yeah, I read all the time. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure you can see my bookshelf back here, and I'm running out of room.
Yep. So there's 2 books that I love to recommend. One is called Influence. It's by a guy named Vincent Cialdini. He's a professor at Arizona State. There's a theory that he has called social reciprocity, which says if I give you something and then come back later and ask you for something, it's a 10x, just so they don't feel guilty.
This one?
Yep.
That's the one.
That book is my defense against the dark arts. It also teaches you when people are trying to sell you, to go, nope, not today. Not today. You ain't going to sell me today. And so it's crucial to understand some of those concepts. Social reciprocity is amazing, right? Y'all just do it.
Oh, and it's just simple. I think one of the examples he uses in the book is like buying somebody a Coke. Like when you walk in and you hand somebody, hey, I got 2 Cokes at the vending machine. Here you go. You can have one. I mean, that creates an immense turnabout. They want to help now that you've done something for them. I used to use that. I do this all the time with my old sales job. I used to walk in and I'd have their bling rings. Those little rings. I think I paid 35 cents a piece from China. I got them by the freaking pallet load. Not kidding. And you click a little button and they flashed on real light. And I dealt with a lot of women, so they loved it. You know what I mean? And I would just walk in and hand these things out like candy. For some reason, they knew who I was at that point. It was different. I had given them something. So now they're at least going to talk to me. And if they want to tell me to shove off, they're going to do it nice. Yep. And that was the best thing about it.
Yep. The other one that I love to recommend, it's a book called Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath.
Oh, I don't know where that one is off the top of my head. I have that one too.
Yeah.
I knew where Influence was because I did organize some of the books.
So what's fascinating is they take urban legends and they break it down and be like, how come we all know the same urban legends? How come we all have a story about the ghost pushing a car over the railroad tracks? Every city has that story, and at some location. It's never happened, but we all know the story. How come we all know the story about some guy waking up in a tub full of ice with his kidneys cut off? Right? We all know that story. So what they did is they broke down that messaging and broke it down into ways of like, what makes things get repeated? What makes an urban legend get told to other people? Well, guess what? What are we trying to do with our marketing? We want people to repeat phrases to others about us. Right? So, that's the goal of, well, if I say Nike, their slogan, right?
Yeah.
Nike, what comes to mind? I say Nike, what do you know?
Oh, Shoe Dog is the first thing that popped in my head, but just do it. Yeah.
Just do it, right? We know it. Why does Coca-Cola still do marketing? Does not everybody on the planet know what a Coke is? It's not that they want to be known. It's that they want to be known as first. Well, if you're coming in second, Ricky Bobby says you're first loser, right?
Yep.
So to stay top of mind, yeah. To stay top of mind, that's why you still market. But with that opportunity comes to put words into people's heads that they can repeat to others so that you can get referrals, right? I was talking to one of the people at your party and they're like, oh, I'm a problem solver. I was like, tell people that. Hey, I'm Erica. I solve problems. What can I help you with today? I'm a professional problem solver. What do you need?
Yep.
You don't think that person's like, professional problem solver? That's a job. What? I got this thing. How do you solve that? And they go, I do this, this, and this. Oh, shit. You are a professional. Yeah, let's do some business together.
Or I call so-and-so, right?
Right. Or whatever. So
yeah,
tell people what you do and how you can help. And then ask for the damn referral.
Yeah. You see, I'm looking at this right now and I see Chris is on here and he's driving, so I don't like you talking about Ricky Bobby. But I do know one thing that Chris kind of specializes in, and he's made a business out of it, is he's like, I help military people that can't sell their house. You know what I mean? That's what he does. And he comes in there and he's got a whole slew of solutions, and I know he fixes a lot of that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure, Chris, I'm not, if I'm correct on that. So yeah. See, I mean, I know that much about it. I know that's what it is. If somebody came to me with a military problem, I'm like, call Chris. Like you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let people know what you do. Yeah. I mean, and real estate it's what, the second largest industry in the United States behind financial services. If we talk about wealth creation, it's either one or two, right? You're in the right place, right? You're in the right place to make money. But there's so many different ways you can do it. Do you buy homes? Do you sell homes? Are you an investor? Are you a flipper? Are you whatever? Guess what? Photography, there's like 19,000 ways to make money with. But what it all comes down to is, are you somebody that other people can like and trust? Do you do a good job? Do you ask for the referral? That's it. At the base, that's it. If I can give one suggestion on an actionable item, go find a group. I don't care what it is. Chamber of Commerce, a local veterans group, I don't know, a running club, a photography club.
Church.
I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. Find something that you like and go join up with other people who also like doing it. And then just be cool and tell people what you do. Don't be a dick about it, but just be like, I love doing this thing. Hey, just so you know, I do this. Let's get back to the thing now. Literally, one of I used to run marathons. I'm fat and old now, but I used to run marathons. I was with a running group. I can trace 25% of my business from that group.
Yep.
I still get referrals from it today. And it was stuff I did 2008, 2009, 2010. And here we are, almost 2022. But I showed up, I took photos, I gave away photos. I bet, 20 to 25% of our business every year is from somebody within that group or a referral from that group.
See, what I think, this is such my philosophy as well, because I'm not going to throw any names out there, but I do a big pub crawl thing every year, and there's lots of people show up. And we had this one guy come out and shoot it one time, and he wouldn't even get, he wanted to charge it like an exorbitant amount of money. Like, I mean, $150 for a digital, you know what I mean? Just this ridiculous amount for these photos, and he had watermarked everything. And I'm like, dude, I don't think you understand. Like, there are 700 people here. Like, if you gave me 3 photos, it's like I could, you know what I mean? It'd have been huge. But
He was
I
trying
think
to
it's
do
so,
business with the 25 and not the 625.
yep.
He tried to do business and make all his money with those 25 people, and he shot himself in the foot, and he's never going to get a referral from the 625 people that are going to talk about it.
Yep.
Does that make
So,
sense?
yeah. And I think, I mean, just to kind of turn it over, if we're looking at the agent side of things,
Yeah.
guys, offer to run other people's open houses. I mean, that's a huge help, right? Take calls and say, hey, I always tell everybody I solve real estate problems. That's what I say. I solve real estate problems. What kind of problems? What kind of real estate do you have? You know what I mean? It's like, I figure out the problem for you. You know what I mean? Or I figure out the solution.
Yeah.
So, that's what I say. And like a lot of times, if you're talking to I don't have anybody to run this open house. I don't care if you're doing it for a Keller Williams agent. Now go run their open house. What does it matter? Because you're going to get the buyer, right? You're going to get the referrals. You're going to be the guy that helps out. And if they ever do shut down, hey, we're there. Help out the builders. That's one of my little things that I do. And I do it all for free. I don't ask for anything. I said, yeah, man, I'll go sit at your place for you. So guys, there's a lot of actionable items. You just got to figure out where they are, to be able to give something away, to be able to give back a little bit. Businesses, somebody used the referral. It was David Green. He's a Keller Williams agent out of the Bay Area. And he says that the entire thing is like the old school game, Barrel of Monkeys. You got one person pulling you up and you got to pull somebody else up behind you. This whole thing just doesn't work. And there's so many ways that you can give away your time, talent, and treasures, right? I mean, that's what tithing's always about, right? Figure out a way to do time, talent, and treasures, give something out, be helpful. People love you. I'm helpful at my church. I try to be helpful. I coach my girls' softball teams. I mean, I've met people there, whatever you can do to help out. Don't coach T-ball, by the way. That's horrible.
It was bad. Oh, yeah, it was bad.
It's just horrible.
I've gotten
so bad.
I've gotten
Kids have a
jobs
good time, but
flying on an
so
airplane. I've gotten jobs flying on an airplane because the guy was like, "Oh, what do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I take pictures." What about you? And I talked to them for a while. He's like, "Wait a minute, you take pictures for a living?" I was like, "Yeah, about to start 14 years." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I do, man. It's cool. But what about you?" And by then he's like, "Well, can I see some of your work?" And I started showing him my work. He's like, "Dude, I'm preparing to do like a trail hike of like the Appalachian Mountains. Can I come get some promo photos?" Yeah. And it turned into like, not a ton of money, but from an airplane conversation, like that, and it happens all the time.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I've got 100 stories about how those random little conversations. I mean, I think, like I said, the most pertinent one was sitting down having a beer with some stranger in New Orleans. I mean, that's potentially life changing for me.
But here, I think what's interesting about that though, y'all self-selected to be there, and so it seems random and it seems off chance. But Colin, I would bet of the one person you met, there was 749 people just like him there. I bet half of the crowd was looking for deals and half had money, or vice versa, right? One had the deals, one had.
Oh, come on, internet. Oh, you're killing me, internet. See, I can see Chris. Josh, I think it's your computer. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so it's not mine this time, it's Josh's.
No. Hey, a lot of the stuff you guys talked about, hopefully you can hear me, man. You guys had some great points about meeting people, teaching people early on. While Josh is trying to get it back on, early on, I used to do classes. It used to be anywhere from a dozen to 2 dozen individuals, realtors, other realtors come to my class. And I told them how I helped those homeowners that couldn't get help by a regular realtor. And that blew my business up. I mean, most of my business right now is referrals from agents that can't help the client that called them. And so I wanted to throw that in, when a house is upside down on equity, we're a military city. Let's put it like that. There's a lot of military families that buy their house and a year later they have to relocate because they got orders to go somewhere else. So how are they able to help a family that has to come out of pocket to sell their own house?
Yeah,
it's usually impossible. And so my business has always been helping those, you brought up the military. Um, when they get 0% down at the time of closing and only a year to 2 years pass, obviously this is pre-COVID. Right now the COVID market is a very different market, but before all that, it was a very different time frame that they didn't have enough equity. They didn't put enough equity in their house to not break even. They actually had to come out of pocket. So, I mean, I want to say I did it for about a year's time, probably did about 4 different classes. And so each time was meeting maybe a dozen new people. So 50 new connections in that year's time. And with that, I've been fed leads every few months now because of agents that were in the classroom that don't know how to help individuals. So even still to this day, I still find it, but it is, and I had these classes free of charge to other realtors. That's what it was. Hey, you want to learn something new, by all means. So I 100% want to contribute that information. It's about putting your hand backwards and pulling someone up and saying, hey, look, we don't all know it, and we don't all have the ways, because I knew as a new agent, I had that. How do you help someone that was upside down? Yeah. And I didn't know that. And so I educated myself, and actually with that knowledge, I wanted to become an investor. So good stuff today, Colin. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get Josh back on. I think he's just died. Like I said, he's a wise man. I mean, he's fun to listen to, fun to talk, and I mean, he takes pictures. That's what he does. He's fun to talk to.
There was other little points. I had you guys. I had to walk into Home Depot, so I got a bunch of stuff in the back. I'm actually at one of my Airbnbs, and then I'm gonna go to the other one later today. So I just had to stop at Home Depot. That's why I wanted to catch on. I knew I was gonna do a lot of driving. So, but you guys made a lot of valid points. So just meeting someone and simply introducing yourself goes a long way. And I don't care if it's another agent, and offering assistance. And you made a comment earlier, give something to get something in return. And do your research on people. That's one thing I do want to contribute. I don't remember what part of the conversation. Do your research on people you're connecting with, especially on social media. I, being a business owner, and Vanessa owning her own business, sometimes people reach out to us and trying to offer the same business. Vanessa is has her own cleaning company, and people reach out to her trying to offer cleaning services. Someone reaches out to me and asks me if I know anyone willing to list their home. And I'm like, you guys, you can't just use people just because you're connected and friends on Facebook. You actually need to know what they're doing to connect.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because honestly, at that point, I don't feel that they've done their research enough. Even if it's just 2 seconds, by seeing what that line of work there is, going through a couple of minutes of just their feed and seeing what they're doing and who they are, and connecting that way. But if you're just mass blasting, there's a very slim chance. If it's not a personalized message when you connect privately, most of the time you're just going to get overlooked anyways.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because we're so, just get rid of spam. You know what I mean? We're just ready for it. That's what we do. I mean, we're just waiting. As I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my other screen, I've got 47 emails that just popped in. It's like 99% crap. So we're so used to just getting rid of that, getting rid of the spam. So don't spam people. Be genuine. Be who you are.
I 100% agree.
But all right, I guess.
Hey, Colin.
I guess we lost Josh. It makes sense. Yo.
Hey, this has been really awesome, and I'm glad you guys did a video on this today, because I was talking to people at the party also just about how I want to kind of like tighten up my business, and networking is definitely one of them. Do you have any suggestions when it comes to like your, like, I know you have your little portfolio right there with business cards in it and stuff. Do you have like an online system where you keep people's emails, or like how do you stay organized with that? Because I love the Christmas card idea, and I have realtors that I work with that send me emails. Like, what's your system? I guess that's what I'm asking.
So me personally, so everybody gets kind of their own. There's a couple ways to do it. So yes, I do have those cards over there, but I keep the cards, but I also put them all into my contacts. Like I use Apple stuff, so it's Apple Contacts. They're all in there, right? I will take some of the emails and different stuff like that and put them into my CRM. so that it really reminds me to make touches with them throughout the year, whatever it might be. If I know they're building a house, I'll put a reminder in there for month 9 to say, hey, look, see if their house building's going or something like that. You know what I mean? So the CRM helps me stay in touch with those kind of people. And I also use MailerLite, which is kind of like, it's one of those big email blast things. That's what I send you all these emails in, whenever you get the emails from Whiteline, that's where it comes from. So, and that's free up to 12,000 emails a month, I think, which is, if you have 1,000 people in your database, I mean, you can send them 12 emails a month and it's still free, you know what I mean? So that's pretty helpful. So yeah, that's one way to do it. It's really up to you. But again, I try not to be spammy about it. Anytime I send an email out to anybody, it's usually something like Happy Fiesta, here's a picture of all of us in Guava Bear shirts or whatever it might be. So just like I said, try not to be spammy with it, but you do want to stay in front of people, especially if you network with somebody and you meet them one time. How are they going to remember who you are? Another little secret that I have here, and I'll put this link in the chat. I don't know if it'll work. Give me a minute. If I ever take a picture with somebody, this is kind of a fun one to do. I have a service, and I think if you do go with me, or if you click on this link, it'll let you send a free one. But what's really cool about send out cards is, like, I think that letters, I do a lot of letters. Look, sitting right here, I have, hundreds of stamps just sitting right here next to me at all times. I send out, I can't tell you, my mailman's got to hate me. He's got to absolutely hate me. How do I do this? I'll send this out to you guys whenever I figure out how to do it. It's going to take me too long. But what's cool about send out cards, if I ever take a selfie with somebody, there's an app for the phone. And whenever I take a selfie, I can turn it into a card, and it puts it in an envelope, writes their address. You can actually sign it, they can analyze your handwriting and make a font out of it, all that kind of stuff. So if I take a picture with somebody at a party and it's just too funny, or, I'm kind of a goofball. So, and I send it to them in a card form, I guarantee that card's sitting on their desk somewhere for a while. You know what I mean? I'm burning myself into their head, so they remember who I am. Let me see if I can find this link. So I just whatever you can do. Like I said, the CRM is going to be the most helpful for giving yourself reminders. But yeah, I just keep them all in a couple different databases, whatever one works for you.
Okay, thanks.
I know
not a problem.
I know there's MailChimp. I'm not very active on the email blasting, but I know MailChimp is also a free service.
Yeah.
Just trying to get organized with all of it, because I don't want to meet people and then not be collecting their data. And then, I look back in a year from now and I didn't capture all of that, that would be a waste of effort.
Right. So I found the link. I think this is it. Yeah, if you go there, you can try out send out cards. It's kind of fun. So yeah, I love doing kind of unique things just to stay in front of people. And Josh is 110% correct, man. I think your network is really your net worth, and it's not about marketing and advertising. I have so many agents that ask me all the time, billboards. I've never driven down the road, saw a billboard and go, that's who's selling my house. Right there, that is a good billboard. I don't know if anybody else does. I guess they work if people are still doing them. I'd rather not get a random phone call from somebody. I'd rather them say, hey, so-and-so told me to call you. I actually got a referral to sell a house a while back, and she called me and she goes, my daughter said I needed to talk to you. I'm like, who's your daughter? And she told me, I couldn't even tell you her name. I was like, who? I have no clue who this lady was, and whatever, made me a quick $6,000. I was out the door, So just get out there, try to find a way to do it, whatever works best for you. I like the CRM, I like the mailer campaign, and I like using send out cards. Those are kind of probably my 3. Plus the cool thing about send out cards is I use that for my Christmas cards too, because I can upload the photo and I can send out 700 emails like that, or 700 actual letters without having to hand address them all. Last year I hand addressed them all because I wanted to do something different. That just kind of got irritating, so I thought I'll do that again. But yeah, that's how I do it. Well, guys, I got to go pick up my girls. It's early release day. I got to go get them. Hooray, early release day. Right?
Thank you for doing this one today.
All right.
It'll be on the YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed.
All right.
Awesome. Thank
Good
you.
call.
Bye.